What's up, Sky Squad? It's your boy DJRichieSkye. We are back with another video. Listen, if you guys are in the chatterization, let me know where you guys are watching from. I see you in the chat. I see you. Delaware, y'all up in here today. San Francisco, I see you. Mississippi, I see you. Listen, we got Atlanta in the place. Atlanta was popping last night, okay? Atlanta was popping. We're going to be talking about that. Greensboro, North Carolina. Hey, Trinidad is also in the house. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. Listen, we're going to be talking about Robyn Dixon speaking on the whole situation with Monique and Candiace. She's got some interesting thoughts on this. We also got a word from Tanya Sam about this whole Real Housewives of Atlanta scandal that's going down. And then we got a quick update for you guys on Dennis McKINLEY and Porsha Williams. Some interesting things kind of just came out. So we're going to talk about all that. So let's get all the way into it, okay? Happy Sunday, y'all. Happy Sunday. So Robyn Dixon, let's get into Robyn, okay? Now, Robyn Dixon, you know, she has faced a lot of backlash from fans for how she handled the aftermath of the Real Housewives of Atlanta altercation between Monique Samuels and Candiace Dillard Bassett, when Monique Samuels showed up to Karen Huger's house trying to explain herself with regards to the incident. Now, you know, Robyn, Gizelle, and Wendy did not have any, like it was no holds barred for them. They went in. They was not letting Monique off the hook at all. And so some fans were really divided about that as well. But she did an interview with Entertainment Tonight that I thought was really, really, really interesting. And I put the link in the description of this video so that you guys can actually go ahead and watch that and watch the interview, but you can also read the transcript of it as well. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an excerpt that sort of explains to you why she felt the way that she felt and why she views that the ladies mostly took Candiace's side in the incident. Okay, so let's get into it. So Robyn says, you know, the group did not have a separate conversation or sit down with Candiace. And it's largely because the group as a whole did not blame Candiace for what happened. And Candiace didn't take any responsibility for it either. Now, the article says opinions may have shifted now that everyone has seen the footage, though. Robyn, for her part, says this. Maybe if Candiace were to do any type of media interview now, she might say, yes, I escalated it. Now, this is very different from what Robyn was saying in the episode. So perhaps looking back on it, and she even admits in this article that the altercation was not as bad as it seemed when it was actually happening. And a lot of you guys have voiced this as well. I mean, we have definitely seen worse altercations on other shows, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. So she says, maybe if Candiace were to do any type of media interview now, she might say, yes, I escalated it. I was doing a little too much. But during the season, we didn't, in the moment, we didn't see it that way. We never really, during the season, really thought that we needed to hold Candiace accountable because we've seen, you know why, we've seen Candiace say far worse things. So we didn't think that it was anything to be so upset about. This is very interesting because this is a very different take than Robyn seemed to have when right after the episode totally went down, when they completely just blamed Monique for the altercation. Robyn says that Candiace was also the subject of a lot of bullying on social media right after the incident. So she just wanted to be there for her, you know, whether or not she was responsible. But she notes that she did talk to Candiace about needing to take ownership over her words. Now, I don't know if we're going to see that on tonight's episode or not, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see. She says, I hope maybe she has learned her lesson and has realized like certain things she shouldn't go too far. And I talked to her recently and she does take responsibility for her mouth. Now, that's a little bit different from what we've seen from Candiace, you know, in recent interviews where she was not really, you know, saying that she felt like she had any, you know, responsibility for what happened in the altercation. So it'll be interesting to see how the situation plays out. Now, remember during the episode, guys, when Gizelle called out all of those things that Monique had supposedly done over the past couple of seasons that proved that she could not be around her because Monique would tarnish the image that her and Pastor Jamal Bryant had worked so hard to build. We will touch on this at another time, that whole image thing. But moving right along, Robyn says this. The audience holds on to the past. So they're like, well, remember season 4, Candiace threw a knife at Ashley? And remember season 2, Robyn, you went to Ashley's restaurant? She says, I don't. In our world, we have to move on so quickly. This is season 5. I'm not thinking about what Candiace did in season 4. I'm thinking about the moment. I'm thinking about what's happening in the present day. I'm not holding on to grudges because there's no way to move forward like that. But it was interesting to me that Gizelle was still holding on to those things, but Robyn is not, okay? She also says there's no way we can move forward as a group with Monique and Candiace in the group without the two of them at some point coming to some sort of, I don't know, place of forgiveness or reconciliation. I really pray that we can all be open and honest and really take responsibility for everything and listen to each other. I do agree with her on this note right here, because I do feel like everybody has to take accountability and own their part in it. And then hopefully there can be some sort of reconciliation, or one of the two of them are probably not going to be featured on the next season. It just doesn't seem, it seems like it can't go forward, you know, if nobody comes to the table. But I also have to say this, the other ladies have to come to the table and admit for their responsibility in this whole situation, because if they don't take accountability for their actions and egging this situation on and doing things behind the scenes and doing things right then and there on the camera, then the situation will not get any better for this group as a whole. So to me, we'll just have to, I'm going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see how this whole situation plays out tonight on the Real Housewives of Potomac as things continue to progress. I'm very, very happy that tonight we'll be moving on from the altercation, because we've had 3 episodes of this to dissect, digest, and all of that stuff. And I think we all have a bit of indigestion from thinking about this situation so much. Now, I want to move on to something else. We all know that the big thing was going down this weekend, which was Cynthia Bailey's wedding to Mike Hill in the Atlanta area, and all of the Atlanta socialites came out to play. We even had Real Housewives of Potomac stars Gizelle Bryant and Karen Huger down to the Atlanta celebrating along with Miss Cynthia Bailey. We had our boy Funky Dineva in the house as well, from what we have seen on the Instagram. So everything was popping last night. Now, one person that seemed to be noticeably absent last night was that good Tanya Sam. Now, if you guys may recall, all this past week, there have been accusations that Tanya Sam and Porsha Williams were the people that were allegedly getting it on with each other and with the male dancer. But nobody had really come out and said anything or denied it at all. We had Porsha Williams, you know, doing some playing around with Drew Sidora and Shamia, kind of laughing about it. But Tanya has been mostly silent on the matter until now, okay? So Tanya posted on her Instagram and she said this: I will address this topic now, and I will not entertain this absurdity any further. The rumor circulating about me is not true. Tanya Sam, okay? Did you guys peep this? I've heard a lot of you guys saying that Tanya is in Canada right now, so that would make sense why she was not at the wedding and the reception. Listen. Oh, okay. So I see someone says that Tanya tweeted a few days before the wedding that she was in Canada with her 80-year-old parents. So that makes total sense. And I'm happy to see that she finally spoke out about this whole situation. What I will say about this is this, okay? Tanya, I think it's time for you to get off this show. And here is why I'm saying that. I feel as though she's been on this show as a friend to the Housewives. And every season that she's been on here, she has faced a lot. She's been through a lot. And even in some seasons, more than some of the cast members that were on the show. There was the first season she was on, she had her big beef with Nene. The next season that she was on, she was being, you know, she had the whole cookie lady situation with Paul and their relationship. And now, you know, this season, we're looking at a whole situation where her name is being placed in the same conversation as some sort of 3-way situation with a male dancer. Now, for me, Tanya, my word to you is this: girl, get off of this show. If you are not going to sign on the dotted line and be a full-time cast member where they can, as I think Q says this best, he says, pay me for my pain. If they're not going to pay you for all the drama that you're being dragged through, you need to go get off of this show, because that friend of the Housewives check, I don't think is worth it to have your name continuously brought into these types of scandals if you are not going to be getting paid the same amount as the rest of the cast members, and your storyline is taking up a bulk of the story. That's what I think about this. You know what I'm saying? I think that she needs to get off this show, because what she needs to understand is 3 seasons in, this is not going to stop. And they know, and I feel like, you know, it's probably well known that her relationship is going to be her soft spot. Okay. And so for me, Tanya, I think you just got to move. You got to move on off this show, because for real, I've been told that she doesn't want a full-time Peach. Well, if you don't want the full-time Peach, that's cool. That's cool. But if you're going to be going through all of this, my thought is you need to be getting paid Peach holder pay if you're going to be, you know, if you're going to be tossed into the storylines in this way. That's just what I think. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Tanya is very well liked amongst the fans for the most part, because she's a breath of fresh air. But I also think that, listen, you got to understand what you're signing up for with Housewives these days. Some franchises, they thrive off of scandals. Some franchises thrive off of comedy. So take, for instance, for the past couple of seasons on The Real Housewives of New York, they have thrived off of comedy. You know, I feel like the producers want them to kind of be like the modern day Sex and the City. But I feel like you also have with, you know, some of the other franchises, they're kind of overly reliant on scandal and really big headlines to pull in the viewers, because they know it ultimately does. So for Tanya's part, I feel like what she needs to do is make a decision at a certain point in time, like what's going to be the most important thing, your career in tech, and moving forward with that, because that's going to be lucrative likely for the rest of your life, or your time on Housewives, which for the most part, unless you're going to continue to grow a brand via Housewives, it's not going to be as lucrative in the long run. Now, I could be wrong, but I just feel like, you know, if she's going to continue to face this, and maybe she's facing it with confidence, maybe she's sending out this message and saying, listen, I'm not here for this mess and I'm not even affected by it, but I just want y'all to keep my name out this conversation. Not actually sure. But we'll just have to wait and see how the season plays out. Y'all know I tell y'all all the time, I like a good mystery, so I'm here for the confusion of it all, okay? So I want to move on. Speaking of confusion of it all, and I know a lot of people were confused about this situation, but I feel like a lot of us, we've kind of known what's been going on. So here we have this message from Dennis McKINLEY, okay? He posted on his IG stories, and everybody seemed to capture it, single ASFK, which y'all know what that means. Single as, you know what I'm saying. For me, my part, I was quite shocked that he felt the need to post this, because I felt like most people thought he had been single throughout the relationship. I mean, that just seemed to be the way he was portraying himself based on his actions, right? But we had already known that Porsha and him had unfollowed each other or blocked each other or something like that. I really don't know. All I know is, ladies, if you're interested in the hot dog king, Mr. Dennis McKINLEY, now is your opportunity, because the man says he is single and free. Okay. You know, I don't know. It's very interesting. I think that they have a very interesting relationship. I think we're going to see it play out more on the season. But what was nice was that he was photographed at the wedding with Porsha Williams. And he does say this: make no mistake about it. Don't matter what quarter or how much time left on the shot clock, we on the same team, and we always win. Congrats to Mike and Cynthia Hill, always. So what I will say is that it seems as though the pair have at least split and things are amicable. And I respect the fact that he is still able to show her love and support in spite of the fact that maybe they're not together. Now, I don't know if he posted that this post right here as a result of the headlines that have been going on, but the timing of it was very interesting, because the headlines came out about these accusations about an alleged hookup with the male dancer. And then a couple of days later, we get him posting this. So who knows whether or not the two things are correlated, but at least we can say, thank you, Sherilyn, for this super chat. At least we can say that they have seemed to end on the best of terms. And honestly, when I'm looking at love and black love, and this is what I love to see. So that's all we can say. But ultimately, I'm like, bro, we didn't we all know he was single for a minute now anyway? Because I mean, the headlines speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? The photos of him out and about. I mean, I don't know. That's just how it looked. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we can all speculate about what it really was, but that's just kind of how it felt to me. But happy to see that they're able to move forward on one accord and obviously be the best parents that they can be to little baby PJ. And that's really the most important thing about this. Someone says, thank you, Zeez, for this super chat. Do you think that Eva will be on Potomac? No, I don't see that happening. I can see Eva making some guest appearances on Real Housewives of Atlanta, though, given that she is going to be in the wedding. Yolanda C says, yeah, they took a picture together, and then Porsha made it very clear on the picture with her and Shamia stating my date for the night. Okay. Bloop. Let's see. I'm looking to see what you guys are saying. Do I have any Huntsville news? So I would be very honest with you. I kind of stopped covering the Huntsville news, mostly because I have to tell y'all the truth. There's only so much negativity that I can actually handle. And I love the show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think what Carlos King does with that show is completely amazing. What I don't like is the way that the cast handles each other outside of the show. I tend to see a lot of negativity that they do with releasing tax information and all kinds of other stuff that they've been doing to each other behind the scenes. And to me, again, I can only handle so much negativity, right? To me, they just be going way too low, and I'm not as interested in it enough to keep up with everything that's going on with them. I would like to, but it's just difficult for me. Yeah, Huntsville is a good show. I'm going to tell you, I love season 1. Season 1 was amazing. Huntsville is difficult now because none of the people are really friends anymore. So you don't have what makes for a great reality show to me is when you have a group of people who are equally invested in each other because they have a long history together, and there's still always some way that they're willing to try to make the situation work. And right now, it just doesn't feel like they're trying to make it work at all. I will tell you guys, Kathy Sisk says this: South Salt Lake City is going to be lit. Let me tell you something. I 100% agree with you on this. I think that Salt Lake City is going to be it. Okay. Leo Franklin says Tanya is the new Kim Fields. She wasn't brought on for drama, but because she brings a new vibe. I heard that's the vibe of Drew as well. We shall see. We shall see. I'm seeing if I have any other questions from you guys. Brent, yes, I'm working on a couple of other interviews. Right now, Potomac is a little bit difficult because, I think that they're just trying to make sure that they preserve the integrity of what's going to happen later on the show. So I try to work within I just try to work with them to get interviews if I can. But other Housewives shows that are coming up, I really want to interview a couple of people from Salt Lake City. I think that's going to be a huge franchise as we move forward. The Real Housewives of Potomac reunion has not filmed yet. I'm hearing that it will film in November. Wait, I'm sorry. This was the question I wanted to answer. Why do you think Robyn changed her tone? I think that Robyn probably changed her tone I think one in part because of the backlash that they received as a result of how they handled the situation, because they didn't show any compassion to Monique in any way, shape, or form. And I think that they were more interested in picking apart different pieces of her story versus just saying, listen, like, this happened and it wasn't right, but we want to know what do you want to do moving forward? How are you going to improve and be better going forward? And I also think that because they've seen now it play out on camera. I think that it's you can't look at that and say it just in the context of what we've actually seen on reality television. I will tell you that incident was not that bad. And I think she probably just realized that. Just looking to see if there are any more questions that you guys have. Mariana Baxter, I love the way you spell your name, Mariana. That's dope. Says, do you think Robyn paid Modest because of Gizelle or because she really felt that way? I think that it was probably a combination of both. I think that they probably, because they're such good friends, I think that they probably come in with similar thought patterns. And I also think that Gizelle tends to come out as the leader of that sort of duo. I also think that she truly felt that way in the moment. And I do believe that they just really don't like Monique. And I think that instead of just coming out and saying it, they're not being real about how they actually feel about her. That's just my thought. Will Gizelle move to Atlanta and come in on the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise? I don't see that happening. I didn't see that. Do you know when the Real Housewives of Atlanta is slated to premiere? I've heard December. I've heard January. I'm not really sure. Given that they're still filming, I think well until November, possibly. I don't know. I would say late December or maybe even January, if anything. But I also heard Dallas is coming back in January, from what Cameron from Real Housewives of Dallas says. So typically there's usually 2 to 3 Housewives franchises on at that same time. And I would imagine that Real Housewives of Potomac will be wrapping up in December in terms of the reunion and maybe any secrets revealed. And Salt Lake City would probably be wrapping up at the end of December with probably a reunion in January. So it would be likely that it would be maybe late December, early January. I saw another super chat. Miss Business Marketing says, do you think Gizelle is a contradiction since she loves Porsha and condemns Monique when Porsha dragged Kenya? I think that if you watched the incident, if you watched the Bravo chat room, you could see clearly that Porsha was defending Monique, mostly because I believe that I think that Porsha probably recognizes Monique's standpoint because she was in a similar position with Kenya. So I felt like she could better speak on how to maneuver through that. I think that Gizelle is speaking from the lens of not liking Monique. And I think that her viewpoint on Monique is already tainted. So she just probably I feel like it comes across this way as if she just doesn't like her and she wants her off the show. Let me see if you guys have any other questions. Wendy Smith, they need to bring the international franchises back too. Yes, I will say this. It would be nice if there was a way to, I know without having to get a VPN and trying to, there's Hayu that you can watch the international Housewives franchises on. I wish that they showed them on Bravo as well. Thank you for the super chat, Aisha. Yeah, Miami does need to come back. I agree with you on that. Someone said, any news on Married to Medicine? I don't have any new news on Married to Medicine. I have one little piece of item that I've been kind of trying to work into a video when it makes sense. But nothing really new to report as of now. Once the ladies left Washington, D.C., there was really not much in terms of news that was spilling out about what they've been doing, because a lot of the attention went to Real Housewives of Potomac and the altercation. And then now we're looking at a lot of Real Housewives of Atlanta news because of the Cynthia Bailey's bachelorette party news coming out. And then, of course, Cynthia Bailey's wedding. So there's not been a lot of news on that. What's up with the Kandi OLG spinoff? I had been told that it was on hold for a bit while we were kind of in this whole pandemic, because I think it might be a little bit difficult to film that with, and I don't know what the restrictions are in Atlanta at this point. It seems like Atlanta is wide open right now. I'm not sure. Can you speak on the rumors about John Yates? I thank you for the super chat, first of all, but I honestly have been so wrapped up in Housewives that I have that I don't know what's going on with that. I'm sorry. I hope he's okay. I'll check on him. Married to Medicine DC. I am hearing that there is a Married to Medicine DC that's coming. Is Real Housewives of DC coming back? No, not to my knowledge. But the cast did reunite for the 20th. I don't think it was the 20th anniversary. It was the maybe 10-year anniversary or something like that this past year. That was about it. And Mikhail did not participate in that reunion. Lynn says Atlanta is on phase 3. Okay. Someone asked about Kelly. Kelly Dodd. Yes, she did get married yesterday as well. But most of the attention kind of went to Cynthia Bailey's wedding because everybody was so, everybody was there. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, I think, Cynthia Bailey's wedding seemed to be the thing that everybody was really tweeting about and talking about because all the photos were coming out about it. Nene on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I can't see that. I could see her maybe popping in for an appearance, maybe having a chat with Garcelle one day, but not. I can't see that happening anytime soon. Sherilyn, thank you. Yes, y'all like this video if you can. All right, guys. I have not heard that she was, and I didn't see any photos indicating that she was at the wedding. It would have been, that would have been a really nice moment to see, I will say, if they had been able to make that happen and they had been able to, that would have been a nice, really, really nice send-off for Nene and Cynthia's storyline. I would have loved to see that. Oh my God, I would have loved to see that. Melody Holt on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Honestly, so let's be real honest before I go. I would really kind of be interested in seeing Melody Holt on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't necessarily know where there is for her to go in terms of storyline on Love in Huntsville, because the cast seems so divided that it doesn't seem to make sense for it to go on. But I do trust in Carlos King's storytelling, so I'm just going to keep watching whenever it comes back on and see what happens. Let's see. Someone says that Melody filmed scenes with Porsha. I haven't heard that, but if they did, then that would be awesome. All right, y'all. So it's Sunday. Y'all make sure y'all listen. Make sure y'all are safe out there today. Make sure you guys enjoy your Sunday. You know, we on this channel, we still move from a place of love and understanding with these situations. And I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in on the chat and asking questions. And I try to answer as best I can when I know the answers to them. And if I don't, I'll let you know. With that being said, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell button, smash that like button as well. And, you know, we'll see you in the next video.